Hey there! In a recent video I compared a Rough Rider camp knife to a vintage Case Scout utility knife. And in that video I said I had another vintage Case Scout utility knife that was even older, rarer, and better than the one I was showing you. Well, here it is. It is older, it's rarer. Whether it's better or not, I don't know. Maybe that was just me getting excited because both versions of this knife are great knives. What I meant was this one specifically was better than that one specifically, which had some problems. So this is the Case 6445R, and if you're not familiar with how Case's model numbers work, that first number 6 denotes the cover material, and 6 stands for bone. So you'll see 6 a lot because a lot of Case knives have bone covers. The next number 4 in this case indicates the number of blades. This is a 4-blade Scout utility knife. The next couple of numbers are the pattern number. 45 is a 3 3/4 inch equal length kind of a cigar knife. And then the R, I don't know what the R stands for, so if anybody can help me with that, I would really appreciate that. I've got a few questions about these knives I haven't been able to get answered, and then maybe some of you viewers can help me out. So anyway, these are really well built. They were built with extra thick blade stock and liners, and they always had bone handles or a rough black synthetic. And they were made all the way up until 1978. What I don't know is when Case actually started making this 4-bladed Scout utility knife, this on the 45 pattern, or any pattern. I really don't know when Case started making this type of knife. Now, they did make this knife alongside of another knife for a while that was very similar to it, the 640045R, which was a lower priced knife. This I guess would be more like the premium version, and then it was more of a budget version. They had a little thinner blade stock, thinner liners. They were always brass liners, and they always had Delrin handles. Those were made all the way up until 2006 when the last producer, Camillus, went out of business. The budget version was always made out of house. It was either made by Camillus or Schrade Ulster or Utica. And they were carbon steel up until 1990, then they went to stainless steel, and then, as I said, they always had brass liners and Delrin handles. These were discontinued in 1978. They were always made in-house. They were always chrome vanadium carbon steel, and as I said, they always had bone handles or some kind of rough black synthetic. Now, what I think is really great about this knife is it's got the, I guess, what's considered the rare Case Scout shield. So instead of an oval shield with an oval circle inside of it and the word Case, here you have a very tapered shield, and in script it reads Case Scout. The other thing that makes this knife scarcer are the line bolsters, the threaded bolsters. On the other later version of the 6445R, they're smooth. The differences don't stop there, whereas the other version on this end has that spear type can opener. Here you have a stubby screwdriver on the main blade end. And then on the end where the newer version has a very long screwdriver, this one has a very old style one-piece can opener. Now, the blades are pretty much the same, but this one does have the Case Tested XX tang stamp. And I think that's called a long tail C, where the line comes out underneath the A, SE. But anyway, this there are several Case Tested tang stamps. They all indicate the knives were made from somewhere between 1920 and 1940. So I know that Case has been making this Scout utility knife for a long time. I don't know exactly when they started. One other really cool thing about this knife is that it has nickel silver liners as well as pins. So I really like that in a knife when all the materials are the same. You know, you've got a nickel silver shield, nickel silver bolsters, nickel silver pins, and now nickel silver liners. It just looks a lot more uniform. Nickel silver bail. So it wasn't uncommon for Case Tested, the knives from the Case Tested era, to have either brass or nickel silver liners. Typically, they're more premium ones or certain patterns would have the nickel silver, but they started changing over to all brass in 1978, and by 1980 all the case knives had brass liners unless they were a special or limited edition. I did have a case select knife that had recently that had nickel silver liners. Now, this age case knife with these kind of bone handles, those would be called green bone. And it's kind of weird because they don't look green, do they? They look brown. And it's got nothing to do with the age of the bone or anything like that. Green bone, red bone are just terms that case collectors came up with to distinguish between the different dyes of this era knife. Some of them are very reddish, and they're called red bone. A lot of people call just kind of reddish brown red bone because they want to like up the value of their knife. But red bone ones are very red. And then these that are just kind of brownish, might have a little kind of olive tint to them, are called green bone. Now, even though this is a Case Scout knife, it's not an official Boy Scout of America knife. Believe it or not, Case did not start making official BSA knives until 2005. So they were very, very late to enter the Boy Scout knife market. So we've already looked at a few of the tools here. Let's look at the last one. This is the punch. This is the only thing that I've got wrong with this knife. Obviously the punch is short. When I got it, it was just kind of broken off, and so it had really ragged, sharp, square edges. So I just slightly rounded them so they wouldn't snag anybody's hand. But you can see here it had this lip to lift it. Fortunately, that still comes out over the cutout to do that. So there you can see the nickel silver liners. Again, CV, chrome vanadium, steel on the case knives. Put a good edge on it. The tip was a little blunt, so it looks kind of a little funny, but it's pretty full. Big spear blade. And again, these are kind of nail busters, but here's the old can opener. And these have a really strong lockout, so they wouldn't close on you, I guess. And the short and stubby screwdriver. All right, so there's been a look at a vintage Case Scout utility knife, model 6445R. A little different than most that you've seen, and I'm really stoked to have that. I kind of got lucky with it, but that's going to stay in my collection for a while. And hey, as always, thanks for watching, and have fun collecting.